All right, everybody. Top 5 Iron Maiden records of all time. Number 5 goes to Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. I know some people it's their favorite. I think it's a really good record, though I think it gets weak, kind of in the middle of the second side to the end. Very strong on the first two songs, Moonchild and Infinite Dreams. Very strong on the title track. There's a couple other really good ones, but the album isn't quite as strong throughout as the other top 4. So I got to go number 5. Number 4, Maiden album of all time. I'm going Number of the Beast, and I know that's going to be controversial. But I just think that Number of the Beast is really, really good. I mean, it's incredible. All 5 of these Iron Maiden records are fucking great. So we're splitting hairs almost in a lot of ways. You could easily argue them all. But I got to go Number of the Beast at number 4. I think it's really good. It's very raw. But I think the other records that are above it are just a little bit more polished and a little bit more impressive. Third best Maiden record of all time. I have to go on the third one with Peace of Mind. There's been times when Peace of Mind was my favorite. There could be a day when I change my mind again. But if I'm being subjective, I always say you gotta separate favorite from best, and kind of try to put those both together in your mind and look at it objectively. I think Peace of Mind is an incredible accomplishment. And like I said, sometimes it's my favorite record by them. Though Quest for Fire, a little bit kind of, you know what I mean? So it's almost perfect, but I think Quest for Fire does lose a little momentum with the rest of the record. And Still Life, Sun and Steel are really, really good, but I think all the rest of the songs, Trooper to Tame a Land, and the first side, that first side of that record is just a beast. Wriggles, Dare Revelations, Flight of Icarus, and Die With Your Boots On. To flip the side and get the Trooper and then end with To Tame a Land, that's a hell of an accomplishment. So now we're into the top 2. And this is very difficult for me. It is very difficult for me because I love these 2 records so much, but they're very different from each other. And one is, I know that my number 1 choice is going to be controversial, but I don't care. So number 2 has to be Power Slave. Power Slave for many is the best Maiden record, and I totally understand. It's a perfect record. It's perfect from front to back. You can't argue it, and it's absolutely. I could even talk myself into switching my 1 and 2 right now practically. That's how good it is. Aces High, 2 Minutes to Midnight, arguably the best 1-2 punch ever on a record, to open a record in heavy metal, period. Those 2 songs back to back are just like, wow. We're talking singles, just 2 motherfucker singles that they hit you with back to back. So strong. Way stronger singles, in my opinion, than Can I Play With Madness and The Evil That Men Do, which came later. And still stronger even than the combo of The Trooper and Flight of Icarus. The Trooper's probably there with those 2. Run to the Hills is as well. But those 2 back to back to start a record, wow. A lot of amazing jamming on the record throughout. You got Lost for Words. It's an instrumental, but it's still very cool. Flash of the Blade and Medullus are incredible, though there's a lot of jamming and meandering on those songs. And then, of course, the 2 main tracks on the back end, Power Slave and Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, classics. Though, Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, I love it, but it some people have argued that it could have been cut down to about 10 minutes, and I kind of agree with them on that, even though I love the song. And that leads me to number 1. The best Iron Maiden album is Somewhere in Time. And it's from everything, from the art concept to Derek Riggs' art on that album is unbelievably world class. That Blade Runner cyborg futuristic thing. Blade Runner's my favorite movie, so maybe I'm partial to that too. They opened up with Blade Runner theme music when they did the tour. It was also the first tour I ever saw when I was a kid. So I had to kind of separate my cognitive bias of my love for that record when it came out and hearing the vinyl for the first time and how much it blew my mind. But it goes beyond that. I really honestly think it's their best record. They had just come off the World Slavery Tour. They were never tighter than when they went in the studio for this record. Think about it. They've been touring for like 2 years straight. They were on fire. They also embraced new technology, which I love. I am a keyboards fan. People that are anti-keyboards are going to pick Power Slave all day long and Number the Beast and stuff. But I'm a keyboards fan. So for me, I love synths, and I love the way they use them. They did a perfectly balanced approach. Martin Birch, the whole band, were genius in how they did it. I know Adrian Smith was very involved in that process. But they just brought this incredible balance of power in the rhythm section. Nothing changed on the bass and drums. That's the thing. I think it's Steve and Nico's best record. If you just isolate the bass and drums on Somewhere in Time, listen to Loneliness of a Long Distance Runner and how Nico's working that single kick and against Steve's bass line. That is prime level shit, man. But the whole album, I'm a big fan of the 2 singles. I think Wasted Years and Stranger in a Strange Land are 2 of the greatest songs ever recorded in the history of mankind. Stranger in a Strange Land is an absolute masterpiece. It doesn't get talked about enough. That song, to me, the feel, the vibe of it, the way that it all works is just phenomenal. Every song is a banger on this record. Caught Somewhere in Time is just an absolute monster. It's not a single, it's just an opening prog balanced masterpiece. The sounds, the sonic elements of the record just have aged so well, and it just pops out of the speakers, and it just takes you to this otherworldly universe. And I'll point out recently somebody did an 80s kind of synth pop, synth wave version of Somewhere in Time, an AI thing, but it's incredible. It's actually really good because the songs are so good, the music's so good, it transfers to anything. It's one of those records, I mean, when I listened to it, I was like, I'll go for a run and listen to this today because it's just so powerful, and it doesn't lose the the gist of what it is. It's such, at its core, such a beautifully written album. It's construction sonically to their songwriting. I mean, the lyrics are great. Stranger in a Strange Land's lyrics are great. Deja Vu's lyrics are great. Heaven Can Wait is a fantastic lyric. Sea of Madness, Wasted Years is a great introspective piece. The whole thing is this perfect juxtaposition of mid-'80s optimism and otherworldliness. Everybody was watching sci-fi movies then and adventure movies, and the mid-'80s were insane. I was just a little kid, and it was a phenomenal time to be a kid, man, let me tell you. And it captures that, man. It's so perfect. And the stage set they did with the Cyborg Eddie and all that's the best stage set they ever did. Seven Son was cool too, but I gotta go with Cyborg Eddie as the best stage set. Bruce's cool ass jacket that lit up. I thought that was the coolest thing as a kid when I saw that. It was the first concert I ever saw with Vinnie Vincent Invasion opening up in Oakland in 1987. And when Bruce came out in that jacket with the whole artwork world from Derek Riggs, what he did. I mean, in the detail in that fucking album cover, man, I used to stare at it for hours. There's just nothing like it. No album before or since. It gets lopped in sometimes with Turbo by Judas Priest because they did keyboards in '86 too, but totally different record. It's not even on the same argument of any record from back then. It's Iron Maiden's quintessential masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. For anyone with an open fucking mind. If you're just like a thrash, no keyboards, all you listen to is Slayer and fucking, anything with a keyboard is hell for you and you hate it all, well, then you're not going to pick Somewhere in Time. You're going to be a Power Slave and back, as well. You're going to be Killers. A lot of thrash guys think Killers is the best thing because it's a more thrashy vocal. And look, man, I'm sorry. Killers is a great record, but it doesn't touch the top 5. It's number 6, but it doesn't touch these 5. Those 5 in a row, Number the Beast through Seventh Son of the Seventh Son, is one of the strongest runs ever done by any band in history. What they accomplished on those 5 records all in a row is absolutely just, it's hard to fathom it ever being done again, to be honest. So it's a special, special record. Maybe Opeth pulled it off with Still Life Through Ghost Reveries. a couple other bands probably have come close since, but not many. I mean, what they did in that time period was absolutely phenomenal, especially in the heavy metal realm. I can't say enough good things about it, and Somewhere in Time has got to be number one. And tell me what you think. Bitch at me in the comments. Tell me I'm wrong, but I think anyone with an open mind, who's a truly open-minded listener that listens to a lot of genres of music that isn't just all metal, I think that if they listen to all those records, I would think most would come to the same conclusion. But, to each their own. Your mileage may vary. That's my top 5 Maiden records.